If you search Florida and real estate on Google, on YouTube, anywhere, you're going to see a host of doom and gloom and a lot of people saying the marketplace in Florida has changed. Today, we're going to focus on a lesser known marketplace in the Orlando metro area called Ocoee, Florida. And today, as I start into the data, I'm going to talk about exactly what's going on. Just like the rest of Orlando and the rest of Florida, there's a big transition happening. We are starting to see the marketplace, it's shifting. Is it a crash? I don't know. You're gonna have to watch and make that decision for yourself. But as we dive into the data, dive down below and smash the like button so as many people that might actually know about Ocoee and want to know just exactly how the marketplace is doing in this little sleepy town, we're gonna talk about it right now. So before I dive into Ocoee, let me pull up a chart of Florida. When I start these types of videos, I like to pull up and show the actual state or the entire Central Florida marketplace to give you some context for which to look at the actual marketplace that we're looking at. So let's just dive in real quick and look at Florida. So this is on the left side, you're gonna see April 2024 data, and then we're gonna look against a year ago. So here we are, we're up about 5% over last year across the state of Florida, good news. Cash sales are up 6%. Cash as a percentage of closed sales is really kind of flat, it's up 1.9. Median sale price in Florida is up 3.6. The average sale price in Florida is up 9%. Take that, doom and gloomers. Dollar volume's up 14%. That is the total amount of money, transacted volume, that closed. But let's jump all the way to the bottom of the chart. You can see down here, months of supply of inventory. This is actually the true measure of how fast your market is. And this is going up rapidly in Florida. You can see that a year ago, we were at 2.9 months of supply. You say, Jared, what the heck does that mean? It means if you stop listing homes in Florida, based on how fast we're selling them, how long would it take to sell everything off? Well, 2.9 months was last year. Right now, it's 5 months. That is much higher. And as it goes, if that continues to climb, you will see a lot more price reductions in Florida. Well, why is this happening? Well, look at active inventory. The amount of active supply was 94,000 homes in Florida. It's now 155,000 homes. That's not good. Pending inventory means it's gone under contract, is down almost 8%. New listings is up 25%. There you have it, folks. A lot more people deciding to sell this year over last year. There's a 25% increase in people putting their homes on the market. At the same time, pending, which is people actually saying, oh, there's a house here, I'm gonna buy it. That volume is down. That's not a good thing. Pending inventory going down means that in all likelihood in the future, closed sales is going to be down because pending leads closings. It goes under contract, then it sells. And ultimately, you're starting to see a little bit of a pullback in what buyers are willing to do in the Florida marketplace. Now let's jump to Ocoee by comparison. Well, here we go. April 2024. Look at this, folks. Ocoee has got a nice little bump in sales over the past few months. 31% over last year. That's a nice amount whenever you see that we just saw Florida as a whole was only up like 4%. Ocoee is well overperforming. Look at where the buyers are coming from. You have a 67% increase on that most recent month of data we're looking at here, where cash sales bumped in Ocoee. There's like 10 of them. So it's like 20% of all sales were actually cash buyers. Now in Ocoee, the median sale price is up 5.2%. The average price is up 5.5%. Dollar volume's up 38%. And look down at the bottom of the chart. Remember that months of supply? Remember how I showed you a chart that said last year we had almost 3 months to sell off. And this year in Florida, it was 5 months to sell off. Look at Ocoee, folks. It was 1.1 month of supply last year, meaning incredibly tight inventory, very little available. If you stop listing more, there's nothing for people to buy. It would be gone in a month. That's a very tight inventory by comparison to the state. This is why I want to show you this. And you start seeing Florida's bad news. Look at it now. It's 1.9 months of supply, which is still kind of rated as a hot market, even though it has climbed 72%. Even the hotter parts of the state are still trending with the state because the statewide went up 72%. Ocoee also went up 72%. You'll remember active inventory in the state of Florida was up something like 70%. Active inventory in Ocoee is up 54%. So we were on 52 listings in Ocoee last year. There's now 80 active listings. Why? Let's take a look at our new listing inventory. New listings in Ocoee are not incredibly high. It was only 54 last year. It was only 56. So there's not a massive influx of new homes hitting the market. Whereas you'll remember when I showed you the state of Florida, there was like 25% increase in the amount of people actually saying, you know what, enough's enough. I'm not keeping my house anymore. I'm going to sell it. You don't see that in Ocoee. You have 6% in new pending sales. Our pending inventory, by the way, pendings are flat even. Well, that begs the question for me, why is active inventory so high? If we have closings up, which I showed you at the top of the chart, look at closings are up 31%, which means, okay, we are absorbing the property. Pendings are steady, and we're really not seeing an influx of new listings this particular month. Let's take a look at some charts so we can dig in and see exactly what's going on in Ocoee right now, because the data is not making clear sense to me. All right, now we're back in Ocoee. I've run the data. I'm going to show you a couple different graphs. This is 2024 on the far right edge. This is where we are right now, going all the way back to 2017. So I've got a good amount of data here to show you. So you can see closed sales. Closed sales are up 31%. It's been a banner month on the most recent month of data that I'm showing you here. By the way, this is SunStats. This is provided data source for all realtors. You have to have a license to log in and actually view all this, but this is the backend data for really, I can pull up anything in the state of Florida. But look at this. You'll notice it was a banner month. 55 home sales, we're up 31%, but that's not been the story. Look at this. It's really been below 50 units for a long time. Several months at under 50 units. Remember, we know COVID exploded everything and we had all this volume of inventory because of low interest rates. But look at history. Most of Ocoee sells around 60 units, give or take. Sometimes it's 70, even 80 units. And sometimes it was a little bit lower, but most of the time you can look in history, there were more than 60 units sold on any given month. Look at this. Going back to 2022, you have almost 2 straight years where we didn't even reach the line at 60. So there's actually been a lot fewer sales. As you start to see inventory increase, you're seeing a lot of the news is like, oh, there's so many homes in the market. If there's so many homes in the market, inventory goes up, it's going to be saturated. Okay. And that's going to be a problem. Well, we haven't necessarily seen that in Ocoee. So look again, let's look pre-COVID, because obviously when COVID hit 4%, 3%, 2% interest rates, we bottomed the market out where there's nothing for sale. But look where it was in history. In history, there's around 125 homes on the market for several years running. Now we came off of the floor, we were down at 30 units active, and it's come all the way up to about 80 units now. So it's had a steady climb over the past year and a half to where it's at 80 units, but still it's not high as it was in history. So you have less buyer activity. Buyers are like, forget it, I'm out, and we're not selling as many homes. The good news is that while buyers have been pulling back, that has not been detrimental to price, because inventory starts to come off the bottom. It went from 30 homes to nearly 90 homes, almost tripled. The buyer activity has been so diminished that it hasn't toppled the market, hasn't caused any issues. So you're going to see price over this time frame steadily tight and increasing. One of the things I was surprised by is like it was only 3% up. So this is new listing inventory, as you can see here in Ocoee, okay? 3.7% increase in listings. Though that is unusual, but look at last month. Last month was up 12%. The month before that was down 7%. January was up 53%, okay? 60 listings hitting the market was like 30 more than the year prior. So even though I was like looking at new listings, I'm like, how does their active inventory in Ocoee starting to drift up? How is it so high in the face of just poor listing volume? But you got to understand, most of the prior months are much higher than this, okay? Except for February, it looks like it was diminished. But look at this. Look in history, okay? The amount of new listings hitting the market in the past was, for the most part, it bottomed around 45 units and it topped around almost 100 units. So if you cut a line down the middle, most of the activity is around 70, 80, 85 units a month hitting the market. And as you can see, we haven't hit 80 units on the market since like July of 2022. So here it is, new listings, really not just, they're not exploding here. So you don't actually have a ton of inventory kind of threatening the market. And again, this is an interesting factor. Look at months of supply. So the highest months of supply, again, besides this time, it looks like in October of 2017, there was almost 3 months of supply. But look, Ocoee over time usually hovers right around 2 months of supply, which is where we are now. Okay, we even shot through back in November last year. It actually went to 2.6 months. But right now, we're kind of running around where the history of this market has been. So if we start to see more inventory hitting the market, more buyers still kind of tepid, not pulling back, active inventory keeps climbing, you're likely to see this to change, but it really did come off a bottom. And the equilibrium of this marketplace in history, the amount of trading versus how much active supply is there, is kind of back where it was. So right now we're kind of sitting about where the marketplace usually sits. Ocoee, as you can see, runs a very tight market. 2 months of supply, meaning everything that is there, the amount of people that are moving in wanting to buy here, there's a 2-month inventory. It's not deep. It never is deep. And so ultimately you see consistent trading. Now, the trends you're seeing here in Ocoee are not unique anywhere else in the US. I mean, right now you're starting to see interest rates are staying pushed around 7%. Buyers and unaffordability is just reached record highs. It is very expensive to own a home. Ocoee has a leg up in that it is, again, one of the more affordable marketplaces around the Orlando metro. So you still see renewed interest in this market. This definitely remains one of the tighter marketplaces, but we'll have to see. If active inventory continues to rise, if Ocoee tends to trend behind the rest of the state, then ultimately this could be a different picture in a year, but we'll have to wait and see and watch as it progresses from here. If you live in the Orlando area now, drop in the comments. Tell me what the marketplace looks around your area. Number 2, what's the next video that I should do a market update here in the Central Florida marketplace? Tell me in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next one.